let's work with inverse trigonometric functions. Tangent minus 1 of square root of 3, or basically arctangent of square root of 3, is, well, we want to answer the question, tangent of what angle gives us square root of 3? That's how you work with inverse functions, not necessarily trigonometric ones. Well, I'm looking at the unit circle and maybe it still gives me some struggles. So remember the definition of tangent is sine over cosine. Sine at that angle we're looking for and cosine at that angle which we don't know. But we know that the result gave me square root of 3. Where do we see square root of 3 for sine and cosine? For example, I see it at this angle pi over 3. Of course, there are more, and I will check those later. At pi over 3, sine is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine at pi over 3 is, let me put equal sign in the middle, 1/2, as you can see, or maybe hopefully you remember that. That means it gets nicely simplified, and you have square root of 3 over 2 multiplied by the flipped fraction, because we're multiplying by the reciprocal, and it gives me square root of 3 over 1. So that is the answer for the first question, pi over 3. Wait a minute, you can ask me, but that's not the only option. For example, over here we also have square root of 3 over 2 is negative, but you can check that this is gonna have cosine in the denominator, which we have division by the square root of 3. It's not going to work. Another one which actually is going to work is the one with all negatives, because negative divided by negative gives you positive. So actually 4 pi over 3 also works. So should we include into the answer? Unfortunately, no, we cannot. That is because of the restricted domain for the inverse trigonometric functions. For tangent, in order for y equals to tangent x, to have inverse function arctangent, we have to look at it only from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2. That means, since the domain for tangent was restricted, then the range for arctangent is also restricted. And we only can look at the first and third quadrant, minus pi over 2 to pi over 2, the first and fourth quadrant, that's what I wanted to say. In that area, we can only use one answer, pi over 3. So 4 pi over 3 is not going to work. And that's basically the only complication for these types of problems. You have to keep in mind the restricted domain situation. Tangent of 0 is a little bit easier, arctangent of 0, because we're asking the question, tangent of what angle is 0? Well, there are several of them, right? Not just 0. But from minus pi over 2 to pi over 2, it is indeed just 0. Now, the third question asks arctangent of 1. Tangent of what angle gives us 1? That's actually the easiest one. I would say the last two questions are the most straightforward ones, so it's kind of convenient to put them on a test. Tangent of 0 is 0, and that's a good answer. But also, when the sine and cosine match, so that division of sine of y over cosine of y gives us 1. Correct. When each is square root of 2 over 2, and that happens at pi over 4. At 5 pi over 4, they're also the same, but it is outside of the negative pi over 2 to pi over 2 range. Thus, we're gonna use pi over 4 answer for the third question. And that's how you work with inverse trigonometric functions.